Hello and welcome back to the Listening to Your Gut podcast. I'm here with a friend of mine that I met just about 6 months ago. This woman is let me just take a moment to just share. She says that I am the sweetest. No, no, no. Listen here. This woman is the sweetest. Like, I kid you not, the sweetest woman on the planet. This is Morgan Cohn. She is a mindset, nutrition, and fitness coach. She is also just the sweetest individual. That should also be part of her title too. I friggin' love her, and we're gonna dive into a lot of different things today. But I'm super excited to finally have Morgan on the podcast. So welcome, Morgan.
Kelly, thank you so much. You are the sweetest. I know we literally always go back and forth between saying that, but honestly, you truly are like the most genuine, sweetest soul ever. And your freaking dance parties, like, just hype me up every single morning. So keep doing them, keep bringing people some positivity bright and early. But honestly, thank you so much for having me here. I am so excited. This has been like in the making for quite some time. So super, super excited to have this real, raw, genuine, authentic conversation. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm super pumped. And so I want to dive into, well, first I want to share with the listener what we're going to be talking about, and then we'll dive into all the things today. But just to give you a little context, so Morgan has been on this journey, this health and wellness journey, which is one of the many reasons why we connect, because I've also been on a health and wellness journey for several years. And so she's going to share her story with you, but Morgan has really, in the past couple of years, really transformed her mindset around health and wellness. And what she's sharing, what she's doing, how she's helping women is just friggin' incredible. Recently on the podcast, we had one of my dear friends, Melissa, who is working one-on-one with Morgan right now. And if you listen to that episode, like, her mindset is friggin' night and day different than previously when she was working with Morgan. So if that's not a testament to like what this woman can do to support you, then I don't know what is, because she's just like this breath of fresh air, but also so relatable, so understanding, so knowledgeable, and just like so supportive at the root of everything. So Morgan, let's dive into like, how did this all start for you? Like, because there were some low lows, and like, let's start there, and how you've come out of that, and just like the journey in general.
Yeah, no, absolutely. First of all, I do have to say, Melissa, freaking night and day, like you said, like, so proud of her, the work that she has put in. It's honestly incredible to watch her do it. And her and I always say, like, yes, we're working together. But I'm not forcing her to do anything. We are creating things together. And she always says that, like, I'm like her flashlight. Like, it's like, oh, like, have you, maybe that isn't working, but have you tried or thought about like doing this? And like, so rather than like being like, you have to do this, you have to do that, like, we kind of just navigate into things that help her. And I think that that's why she's seen such success, is because it didn't seem so scary. But I did just want to add, like, I'm just so, so proud of her. She is amazing. She's incredible, doing amazing, all of the things. But let's get into my journey, because like you said, it definitely started out on the low side. Um, Growing up, I've always been into like sports. I played field hockey, softball, lacrosse in high school. And I loved it. It kept me active. I never was like a gym person when I was in sports, just because I played sports. And I was like, very active during that time period. So it was my junior year, and I got into a car accident, and I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks. So after that, I had a split kidney, lacerated liver, short-term memory loss. I broke my nose. I was, having to recover for a long, long time. And unfortunately, I couldn't play sports anymore. So around the time when I was able to start working out again, I did go to the gym, and I started to like get into like cardio and weightlifting and all of that. And I was like a normal, quote unquote, normal, like gym goer, I guess you can say. There wasn't anything too crazy that I was doing, no restrictive eating or anything like that. But those habits started to creep in when I left for college. My Nana passed away when I was a freshman in college. I had like just, left my home. My family was like an hour away from me, which isn't far, but like I just personally wasn't in like a good mindset when I did go to college. So it was a struggle to not only transition into that period, but also lose my grandma. My ex-boyfriend at the time was like in the Air Force. So there was just a lot of things that like I couldn't cope with. And the way that I coped with them was negatively, not positively. So I started going to the gym like a lot more. I didn't really know anybody. So I was like, oh, let me go to the gym and meet friends. And it kind of started spiraling because I started losing weight. I wasn't really eating anything. And people were complimenting me and saying, oh, you look so good. Like, it looks like you're losing weight, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh yeah, like, okay, like this is good. And I spiraled, and I literally continuously just would go to the gym for 2 hours. I could tell you my meals every single day was a handful of Cheerios. It was a salad with chicken, like no dressing, like nothing else on it. And dinner, I would have an apple with nut butter. Like I really wasn't eating because I was getting that like praise from the external world that I looked so good. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be accepted. Like, this is going to be great. Like, whatever. But little did I know I was literally killing myself from the inside out. Missed out so many memories with friends, family, like things that I could have done. I didn't because I had to maintain something that was unmaintainable, if that's a word. But it took away from my life rather than adding to it. And I feel like, would I have gotten there if I got so much praise from the outside world? I think I would, because it was like the way that I was dealing with things. And now that I've learned how to deal with things, not to take away from my life, but to add to my life. It took me a while to get to where I am now, and I don't want to say I'm happy I went through those things that I went through, but I kind of am, because now I get to help other women get through it the right way, and not go through what I went through, because I would not wish that upon anybody, like ever. It was a very dark time period in my life. I remember the time that I knew I needed help was I just got out of the shower. I was changing into my robe, and I like turned around to go grab my robe, and there was a mirror like on the door hanging, and I literally scared myself. Like my like chest was like concaved in, my face was like sunken in, like I was like, oh my God, like who just was that? And then I realized like it was me, and I was like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? And I called my parents, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, you have to come pick me up. Like, you need to take me like out somewhere. Like, I can't be in this like dorm room anymore. And then that's when I really started my healing journey. I got a nutritionist, personal trainer, but I didn't work out for like a year. Like I completely took off. Like we had to like build me back up. I was on watch by my doctors. And it sounds silly, but like I was scared to add in the foods that she was telling me to, but that's unfortunately like what happens. But I'm so grateful and thankful for her, because I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for her. And it's crazy, like avocado, nut butters, like things like that. Like I had to build my body back up to larger quantities of that, because for so long I was, restricting my body of that. And sorry, this is like a long story.
Oh, this is good.
And then like when I was able to start working out again, it was just kind of like, bike riding. Like I slowly had to like get back into it. And then when COVID hit, I joined Beachbody, because I was like, okay, like I can't go to the gyms anymore, blah, blah, blah. But I still want to like move my body. I joined Beachbody. Like a week into it, I was like, wow, like I really love that, like this whole thing, like how you can work out from home, how there's like a community, X, Y, and Z. And then the woman who I signed up with was having like a live Zoom thing on how you can make this like an income, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, like I'm gonna hop on it. I'm gonna just see what it's about. So I did. I ended up coaching with Beachbody for 2.5 years. And it was a stepping stone that got me to where I am now. And I will say, I think when I first started Beachbody, I still had those like restrictive thoughts. Still had like, oh, like, okay, I did like a 30-minute workout, but maybe I can do like a little bit more after kind of thing. So I still had like those restrictive like thoughts in my brain. But about 2.5 years into it, I just kind of felt like a little unaligned with Beachbody. Actually, the event that I met you at, the event that I met you at, is when I was like, I can make this my own thing. I want to take this into my own hands. I want to create my own business. And the woman who was actually hosting the live workout, I was like, that is what I want to do. Like, I want to do what she is doing, and I know that I can do it. So I stopped coaching for Beachbody. Now I'm fully working and coaching people and clients on my own. And it's amazing and it's great. And I love just being my own person and being able to flip the script in the way that I want to flip the script, and helping people take back control of their life, their mindset, their relationship with food, with their body, just all of the things. Like, I just want it to be different for so many women, because we deserve to not take away or wither our bodies away to nothing. Like, we deserve to take up space, feel strong, like just all of the things. I feel like I've been talking for hours.
No, this is great. I love, I mean, when I said this was good earlier, I meant like the good information that you're giving us, like the whole overview, right? Like obviously what happened to you, we don't wish that on anyone, but it's what you just provided is such a great overview that's going to allow us to dive into specific parts of what you shared. I just want to, say to you before we do that, that like your story alone, like what you just shared, is incredibly inspiring, right? Like to have been at the lowest of lows, where you started to where you are now. I mean, like, if you're not following Morgan, what the hell are you doing? You need to go do that, like right now. But like she's just this breath of fresh air, and to know all of what she's gone through and where she's at now and how she's supporting women, how she's supporting herself first and foremost, is just, I mean, it shows you that it is possible to go from those deepest dark days to totally transforming your life and to finding like peace and enjoyment in life and in food and in movement again. Because I think for you and I both, we can relate to this. I mean, so much of what you said, I was like, God, is she me? Like, are we the same person? Like, I went through some of those same things. Yeah. When I was going through my, I was anorexic at one point. When I was going through that, like, yeah, it did fuel me to hear people be like, wow, you've like lost, weight and like you look good. And that fueled me. But I also, and I imagine part of it for you too, was at the root for me, it was like I was so darn stressed because I was putting so much stress on myself, not from other people, but what I perceived as stress from myself, because I wanted and felt I needed to do so many things. And I felt people were counting on me to do certain things. Like I had to uphold this image, so to speak, that like the stress I put on myself was so much that I was like, I can't control anything else around me, but I sure as hell can control what I put in my body and how I move it, right? And so that was what I ended up doing, was like I restricted food and I exercised to the max. And I was like, yeah, this feels good because I can see results and I am in control of that. Nobody else is in control of that. So I relate on all of that so much, and the way that you found Beachbody at the time that you did, like during the pandemic. That's exactly when I found it. I feel like that's when a lot of us found it. You know, it was
Yeah.
around for much longer than that, but like, I mean, geez, we were all home and it was like, what do you do now? Because you can't go out to the gym. Like, you know, how do you move your body and feel good about it, but also have community? So I relate to that as well. And I feel like for me too, it was a stepping stone into what I'm also doing now. You know, gave me the opportunity to share what I was doing, to connect with women, to see that there are so many people like ourselves out there that are struggling, that just need someone else to show them like, hey, me too, like I've been there, right? Like I think that it, for me, that was a turning point for myself, is like, I'm no longer alone. There are so many other women out there like you that have gone through similar things. And it's kind of like bloating, right? Like most of us have experienced bloating, but we don't talk about it, right? There are many of us out there that have experienced restrictive eating, and maybe even to the extent of like the anorexic state that I was at, but we don't talk about it because it's frowned upon, or it's, you know, it's embarrassing, right? But I think when we share that and we show the reality of like, here's where I was, but I'm on this path, I'm on this journey to reversing that. And to your point, you wish, you don't wish that you didn't experience that, right? Like you are glad in many ways that you did, because it's allowed you to learn from that experience. But like you said, you're showing other women like what you've learned and how this is possible to make those changes long term, and to stick with them, and to truly, at the root of it, like I said, to be happy and at peace with yourself, you know?
Yeah, no, 1,000%. And even as you were as you were talking, I was thinking, like, when I was going through all of that, I feel like the people around me were also like engaging in some of those habits as well. Like it's like, okay, like, yeah, you're right. Like maybe we should eat later. You know, we're going to go out drinking tonight. Let's not eat too much. Like, you know, so we can look good in our clothes, like whatever the case is.
Sure.
And like, instead of feeding on those habits and those like honestly toxic traits,
Yeah.
now like I want to be the person who is like, no, like let's eat like a full meal before we go out drinking, or like whatever the case is. But like I want to be the person now who speaks to that girl, that younger me, and is like, hey, like you don't have to think like that, or you don't have to, you know, feel this way, or you don't have to do those things just because of what society is saying. Like I want, in like, I don't know, 1 to 2 years, like society for it to be not what it is now. And like the quicker we can help other women get through that, like the quicker, when we say society makes us feel some type of way, like I want society to make us women feel strong and empowered. And it starts by flipping the script and having everybody feel and know that they deserve to feel their best, strongest, happiest self, rather, and not take away from their life. So
Amen
yeah.
to that. Yeah.
Like
Gosh.
I know because we always say like, and I get it, I say it too, like we say like society like made us this way, which it did for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I want society to now make us a different way, like a stronger way. Like, and we are the people and the ones who are gonna be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like now everything is just starting to like this flip in the way that people view things. And I'm hoping, I am like so optimistic that the script will be flipped.
Yeah, we are the catalyst for change. We really are. And the more we, you know, share our stories, the more we support women and show them a different way. I to your point, I think it will happen. You know, it's a slow progress towards that, but I think that is, you know, I think in all of our minds, that's the ultimate goal. And I think it will happen the more we continue to share and support and just bring people along with us. So
Yeah.
I love that. So this really like leads us into talking more about mindset, because I know we wanted to focus on that and share with the viewers, the listeners today, really how you've progressed in terms of your mindset, just to give the listener a little bit of insight into you and what I know of you and like what I've seen you share, right? Is that, to your point earlier, you said, like have the meal, like enjoy a full meal, like don't restrict before you're going out and drinking with friends. Like don't restrict the drinking too, if that's like what you want to do, right? Because from what I've seen and what I feel, a lot of people who have gone through a health journey, whether it's been good or bad, restriction always leads to like rebounding, right? You always end up going back, and then either if it's weight, you gain more weight, or you start worse off than you were when you started, right? If that makes sense. And so I want you to dive into like really what has that been like for you, in the multiple years that this has taken place? Because it, again, has not been this overnight. You wake up and you're like, boom, my mindset is shifted, right? That's not reality. We know that. And so I would love for you to take us, kind of on a journey, if you will, of like, what have been kind of the things that you've done, maybe some of the steps that you've taken to really support yourself, all the while knowing that like, yeah, there are going to be those days where like some days you don't feel the greatest, right? And sometimes we revert back to old habits, if you will. So I would love for you to walk us through some of that, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think the mindset piece is so look past, because even when I was going through my whole journey, I never thought I needed personal development or like reading a book. You could never catch me reading a book. Like I just didn't. I was like, no, thank you. Like, I don't need that. I'm good. I've got it under control. And like, I'm good. I don't need it. And it truly wasn't until I, just was like, let me just see what this, personal development podcast like thing is about. And I was like, holy crap. Like, this is what I actually needed. Like, and that's when I really started to change my thoughts. I always say that you can't expect to have external change if internally you're still battling with yourself. And even like you said, like, it doesn't happen overnight. You're not going to just always have positive thoughts. Like everybody's human. You're still going to have days where, you have a bad body image day, or you're like, oh, maybe I overdid it with the cake last night, and you feel a little bloated the next day. But instead of punishing yourself and restricting yourself now, after working on your mindset, you can come from a place of love and be like, okay, I know now, like, let me drink some more water. Let me fuel my body with whole nutrient dense foods, and let me just not punish myself and not overthink it. I did what I did in the moment because that's what I wanted to do. I enjoyed it. And now we move on. So, it didn't start with thoughts like that when I was changing my mindset. It literally started with like listening to like Keisha's Empower Her. She was probably like the first podcast that I listened to. Nothing to really do with like body image or anything like that. And I truthfully, like, I mean, there are some podcasts that I listen to that have to do with like body image and like, fitness and all of that. But I truthfully listen to more like Keisha's podcast, like literally like soul sucking, yeah, like motivational, like Trent Shelton, like all of those like podcasts really resonated with me to help me change my mindset, because your mind is so powerful. And even if you don't think that the thoughts you're thinking are affecting you physically, like they are, because if you're stressing about something, your body is like holding on to that stress. Like your body is so smart and it knows. But I really started changing my mindset with podcasts and then reading some personal development books and all of that. And just starting to make little changes in my routines also. So like, rather than like waking up and rushing and going to the gym, like I wake up and I write in my 5-minute journal. I actually eat before I go to work out now. Like I take time to slow down so that I can give all of my energy into when I am ready to move my body. Not even move my body, but just start my day. Like rather than waking up and like grabbing my phone and scrolling and, you know, consuming all of this negative energy.
Yeah.
It's not all always negative, but just like, you know, comparing yourself to what people are, what other people are doing and what I'm not doing. So I really had to take a step back and create habits that worked for me and worked for my lifestyle. And it changed, honestly, like ups and downs of like what I like doing, what I didn't like doing, how long my morning routine was, how short it is. Like you literally just have to play around with what works for you, because one, not everything is going to work for you in different seasons of life. So you have to be able to like pivot. And two, you don't and shouldn't have to force something that isn't working for you. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, because you see all these people online like doing this or doing that, and you're like, okay, well, she looks so happy and it's working for her, so I have to do that. And you try to fit like a triangle in a square and it's not fitting, and you're like, why is this not working? Why is like she's so happy but I'm so miserable? Like what the heck? Like this is making no sense. It's because it's not meant for you, and there's something else that is out there for you that can't come into your life because you're not allowing it to. So you have to let go of that and allow and be able to receive what is actually meant to come into your life. So, and give yourself grace and be like, hey, like, okay, I tried that, did not go how I planned, but that's okay. I tried. And at least you know that you tried, you gave it your all, but you let go of it, and now you're just allowing to what's meant to come into your life to come into your life. Because, you know, for so long I was doing things that weren't serving me and questioning why I was still feeling the way I was feeling, but it was because like I said, I wasn't allowing to let go of that and receive what was actually supposed to come into my life, which was slowing down, which was giving myself fuel before my workout, which was bringing positivity into my brain before I start my day. And like, even I have like little affirmation cards, and, you know, that's not for everybody. For me, I like, you know, a little affirmation before I start my day. That's just what I like personally. Did I always like that? No. There was a time when I would like read before I would work out. Now I don't really feel like reading in the morning, so I don't do it. It's just, you have to find what works for you. But moral of the story is I changed my mindset by doing something that I didn't think I needed, but it was actually the thing I needed the most. And those are often the things that you need the most, are the things that you don't think you need.
Gosh, that was you. I was just, I was shaking my head, but like not in like a no, I don't agree, like shaking my head and like, gosh, you didn't know that you were coming also to get like some soul like activation today of like just empowering us. Like, I resonate with all of that so much. And I feel like at the root of this, you know, you said listening to podcasts was super supportive for you, like just diving into personal development. But I think something has to be said for like environment, right? Like you change in order for our mindset to change, like our environment has to change too. And so by having like those podcasts that is part of your environment, right? It's what you're allowing to go through your brain, and what you are allowing yourself to listen to is huge. And so you know, to the woman who is listening and it's like, well, God, like, where do I start? Like you just said it right there, like try those types of things, right? And what I also heard from you, which I resonate with and I second, is experiment, right? Like you have to be willing to try different things to see what works for you. And to your point, maybe in this season of life, affirmations work for you. Maybe a year from now, you're going to be like, nope, I don't need those anymore. Like it's something different. Right. And I love that, like just allowing yourself to be open to the opportunity of what feels good to you and what presents itself and what feels aligned to you. So that is gold right there.
Yeah. And even like your fitness journey, like it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
This is all a slow process,
Mhm.
but to feel different, you have to do different things and you have to try, and allow yourself and give yourself the opportunity to be able to see the changes,
Mhm.
um, and to kind of go off of like what you said with the environment. Like that's 1,000% correct. Like I couldn't be around the people who were talking about wanting to become their smallest self anymore, because it wasn't where it was healthy for me or where I wanted to go. Like now I want to be around people who are like, yes, let's like lift some weights, let's be our strongest self, or let's not work out today because our body like just is not for it today.
Yeah.
Like I never gave myself rest. I literally worked out 7 days a week, and now like I was working out like 6 days a week with like a Pilates in there. But
Yeah.
like now, even like in real time, like I want to transition into like maybe like 5 days a week. And then like on those other 2 days, still move my body because movement does wonders for me. But like I'm really trying to like be in tune with my body and realize that like I don't always have to be doing the most, and that slowing down actually will help you speed up.
Yep.
Um, and listen, like, yes, I am a nutrition and fitness and like mindset coach and all of that, but I even just joined a 10-week program because coaches need coaches also. And there's so much power in having somebody there to support you and hold you accountable and maybe help you see things in a different way. Like I
Sure.
am an expert in how I teach women, when it comes to coming out of restrictive like mindset and helping them just take back control of their life. But I also need an expert to help me, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Totally.
And so just changing your environment and being around people now like that get it, and being somebody that I can help like be like, hey, like, have you ever thought about this, or have you ever like tried this kind of thing?
Yeah.
So there's just so much beauty that comes into something that you think you don't need, honestly.
Sure, sure. I get that. I totally hear what you're saying. And I guess I'm still thinking back to something that we talked about earlier, which it relates to the mindset piece, but like the restriction. I'm really curious. I know we didn't say that we're going to specifically talk about this, so this is kind of off the cuff, but this is just a real
I
raw
love it.
conversation. So yeah, I would love to know, like, when it comes to those, like the restriction, I'm thinking whether it be food or, like, to your point of, you're really trying to let the movement be more organic and just natural and not commit yourself to like 6 days a week and maybe reducing it to 5. Like, for the woman who is like, yeah, I can't seem to let go, like I have to do it like 7 days a week, or the woman who is, and I'm thinking that specifically like the movement piece, workout wise, or the woman who's like, I have to get up and I have to do my movement like right now, or if I don't, then the rest of the day is completely off, and like you might as well just call it a wash, because I've wasted my entire day because I didn't do it when I wanted to. Because hello, that used to be me. Like when I was in the worst of my worst, it was like, I'm not leaving the house until I've done that, right? And if I didn't get to do it, my mindset and the way I engaged with people the rest of the day was just, it was awful, because all
Yeah.
I could think about, all I fixated on was like, you didn't do the workout. You didn't do the workout. When are you going to do the workout? Is the workout going to happen? And it was paralyzing. So like,
Yeah.
I'm curious, did you ever feel that way at any point in time? And even if you didn't, like, what would you say to the woman who feels that? What would you say to the old me who used to feel that way? How would you help her through that?
Yeah, I love this question because I feel like everybody is different, obviously, right?
Mhm.
For me personally, I've always been a morning workout person. I don't know if it was because of sports or like whatever, like on the weekends and stuff, like we would always have like early work sessions.
Yeah.
Um, so for me personally, like it's just like comes natural to me. But
Yeah.
there was a point in my life not too long ago, like a year ago, where I was forcing myself to do workouts at 5 a.m. because I had an hour commute to work. Then I had to work a full time, then an hour commute home. And I was like, well, when am I going to get my workout in? And I literally, even if like my body and mind was like, no, like I would force myself to do it. So I get it. I get what you are saying. And what I would say to the woman who was you,
Yeah,
me,
me a while ago. Yeah.
yeah, I would say listen to your body and know that that one workout isn't going to make or break
Yep.
you. And you not doing that workout doesn't define you as a person. You're actually, if you think about it, giving more of yourself to yourself
Mhm.
by not doing the workout than by doing the workout. Because yeah, you can do the workout and be so like miserable and tired during that workout, or you can rest and you can give your body and brain the time to relax and then be able to show up better throughout the day. Because if you force yourself to do that workout, if you force yourself to wake up like at 5 a.m. like I look back now and I was so like just like not there because I was tired. I was run down. I was pushing my body way too hard. And even now I feel like it caught up with my body, like because I was doing that for a year, like waking up at 5 a.m. and like forcing myself to get my workout in. And like I said, yes, now I still work out in the morning, but it's not a 5 a.m. wake up call. Like I'm getting like an adequate 7 to 8 hours of sleep rather than like 4 to 5. So like I have the energy to do it in the morning. Yeah, that's basically what I would say, is to not force yourself to do the workout, because rather than forcing yourself to do that workout and not being able to give the best that you can, or doing the best that you can in that moment, save it for a day when you know you're going to be able to give it your all and be able to show up the way that you want to. Because I'm about to go down a spiral right now, but
Do it. Do it.
you can even think of it this way, like, okay, you do the workout and you don't do the best that you thought you were going to do, then you're thinking about that all day. You're
Mhm.
thinking about, oh my God, I did the workout, it sucked, like I didn't do the best that I could, like now I need to make up for it. And you either like, maybe you do another workout when you get home, or maybe the next day you do and push yourself harder, and you're literally just like a hamster on a wheel, like just running in a circle and just trying to like catch up with yourself, and it's just not working. So you can either like do the workout and be miserable, or don't do the workout and just allow and give yourself grace.
Yeah, I love that. And I think too that begs the question of like what what would you say to someone in terms of like that, like I said earlier, that mindset piece of like when you say, okay, I'm not feeling like I can commit to this today, like my body's not in it, and you decide to listen to your body, which is great, and you don't do it. How do you start to rewire the brain piece of like I said earlier, where you fixate the rest of the day and you're like, okay, I didn't do it, but now I can't stop thinking about the fact that I didn't do it. Like, do you have any advice on that end of things of like what would be some, I don't want to say coping mechanisms because it's not coping, you're like doing that for your body, right? You're blessing your body by giving it that time to, you know, rest or just get into a better headspace, and maybe that's it, right? Is it's allowing you to reset your mind. But how would you suggest maybe one goes about doing that in terms of, okay, I've decided not to do that movement this morning, how can I rewire my brain today so that I'm not fixating on the fact that I didn't do it? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no, 1,000%. And this is a lot of in real time advice also. This weekend, I planned on working out
Yeah.
on Saturday when I was, on vacation. I was like, oh, like I'll just, wake up before everybody, get my workout in. Um, And I truthfully just did not want to work out. And it doesn't happen overnight, but I'm at a point now because of how I've learned to like listen with my body and realize that rest actually is more beneficial than not resting. So in real time, I didn't work out, and I was like, okay, like I accepted it, not going to work out. My body doesn't want to. And I truthfully poured my whole self into being with my family and like just soaked it all in. So I'm not saying that you have to distract yourself, but you have to distract yourself with other things. So even if you don't do the workout, do you want to go on a walk? Do you want to go to the mall and shop? Do you want to listen to a podcast? Do you want to binge watch a Netflix show? Do
Yeah.
you want to call a friend and catch up? Like, do other things that are going to occupy your brain to where you're not even thinking about that workout, to where it's just like, oh, okay, like I was going to work out today, but now I'm doing these things and it's so much better. And I have more time for these things. And you just have to keep saying it to yourself. And it sounds silly, like you're going to sound like a broken record. And it's like, why do I have to tell myself that like I'm enjoying doing these things? But do you want to think those thoughts, or do you want to keep punishing yourself with, I didn't do my workout today. I should do my workout today. Maybe I should just turn around and go home and not go out to lunch with my friend who I haven't seen in a month and a half. Like, you need to start remembering that movement is supposed to add to your life, not take away. And coming from somebody who missed out on literally so many years of memories with her family and friends, I can guarantee you that workout that I did, I don't remember what workout I did. I don't remember how many calories I burnt, but I remember that I missed out on time with my family and friends that I could have had. So just remembering that and kind of like saying that to yourself, I feel can be so powerful. I mean, I'm not sure if that really answers your
Oh, it
question.
does. That's so
Okay.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. And whether you take it as being a distraction or not, I personally, when you said that, I feel like it's pouring, you're able to pour more of yourself, which I think you kind of said this too. You're able to pour more of yourself into other things. So really, like in the big picture of things, you look at your day, you're actually going to be able to get more done because you saved some of that energy for other people, for yourself. Like you said, self-care. Like self-care can look like moving your body and doing a structured workout, or self-care can be like, to your point, taking a walk. Like that's still movement, right?
Yeah.
Or watching a Netflix show, or calling a friend, like you said, like reading a book, like making a meal for yourself. Like maybe instead of going out and getting a meal, you make yourself a home cooked meal, because now you have more time in your day to do that. I mean, the list is exhaustive or inexhaustive. It's endless. So, yeah, I love that. I love your approach. I love your thought process around that.
Yeah. And even to kind of go off of like, I just thought of this as you were talking, like the meal thing, you can like have those thoughts with like food also, obviously, about like, okay, maybe I should just have an apple with peanut butter right now. And then like, because I'm going out to lunch or something, like you can have like these thoughts, but then, okay, you have the apple with peanut butter and then you're still hungry and that's all you're thinking about. It goes both ways when it comes to your mindset. Like it goes with nutrition and it goes with fitness. So rather than just having the apple and peanut butter, what if you just ate a normal meal and then you still went out and had lunch? Like, and again, it takes time, but your brain is so powerful, and you didn't always think like this, right? Your thoughts were not always like this. Unfortunately, your thoughts did get like this because of society, but the good news is that you can undo those thoughts, and it takes time, but it won't always be like this. And this is coming from, I mean, I know you can resonate with all of this, but this is also coming from somebody who's lived it. Like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I was never somebody who had like restrictive eating habits or like anything when it came to overworking out or like punishing myself, anything like that.
Yeah.
I literally, when I think back to my high school self before all of this happened, like happiest, just like didn't think about anything. And now I'm getting back to that girl. I'm getting back to the person who I used to be before society took over. And it's beautiful to kind of come back full circle. And now be able to help women get out of it quicker because, you know, we don't deserve to have these thoughts consume us because they're taking away from so many things in our life. And I feel like I'm saying it over and over again, but like all of these things shouldn't take away from your life. They should just add to it.
Yeah. Oh, it's like the rebirth, like we're watching the rebirth of you in real time, right? Which is one of the many reasons why it's so beautiful to be connected with you is because, just like I said, I will say it time and time again, like what you're doing is so the words are being taken out of my mouth because it's hard to find, but it's so beautiful to watch what you're doing for yourself, but also showing the woman standing next to you, like, here, lock arms with me and like come along with me because I'm doing this in real time. I'm showing you it's possible and I'm here to take you along with me. So you're just you blow me away like on a daily basis.
I
You really
love
do. I love what you're doing. We are friends for life, girlfriend.
Oh,
Like I just
yeah.
love what you're doing and I love what you do for me and what you do for everybody else. Is just it's incredible. It's incredible to watch. Not to mention that like when I found out that you're like several years younger than me, I'm like, who is this woman who's like wise beyond her years? I'm like, I feel like the roles should be reversed. Like, how are you not in your early 30s? I'm just like, you just have so much natural wisdom in you that I love it. I love being surrounded by you. You're just friggin' incredible.
Honestly, I love you so much and I love being surrounded by you and your energy. And it's funny that you say that because I feel like, yes, I am, on the younger end, I guess you can say, but I get along with like, I'm not calling anybody old, but like people like,
Go ahead, call me old.
no. Like I get along with people a couple years ahead of me. Like, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, yes, I want to hang out with you. Yes, I want to talk with you. Yes, like, let's just have this real, raw, genuine, deep conversation. Like, I'm here for it.
I love it. I love it. You are just a genuine soul. So, I mean, this could go on forever, right? We could be here all day, but I don't want to take all of your time. Before we wrap things up, I would love for you, Morgan, to share how women can connect with you, the ways they can work with you, just all the things, please.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much. If you want to just follow me on Instagram, my handle is at Morgan Taylor Cone. Cone is like an ice cream cone, so CONE. And then there are multiple ways that you can work with me. I do love one-on-one coaching, where, we work and we dive deep and we peel back the onion. But I also just have like 1 hour calls where we just, you need a little structure, you need a little kick in the booty. We work it out together, we create a structure, a plan, and then you go on your way. But my like main focus is one-on-one coaching. And there's a link in my bio on Instagram that you can fill out if you are interested. But also, like, I just want to help you. So if you want to just slide into my DMs, like just slide into my DMs, ask a question. If you need advice, you want to vent, like I'm here for you. So yeah, that is how you can find me on Instagram.
I love that. And like I said, your homework right now is to go follow Morgan, because if you're not, you are severely missing out on just a genuine individual that, like she just said, like she just wants to help you, right? And however she can do that, she will. So, friend, I love you so much. Thank you so
I
much
love
for coming
you.
on today. This has been the highlight of my day. Like my day's just getting started, and it can only go up from here, but I know this is going to be the biggest highlight, because talking to you is a breath of fresh air and just such a genuine joy.
Thank you so much for having me, and just helping me flip the script and helping women take back control of their life and doing the dang thing. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. My pleasure.